I want to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and their plan when it comes to the quarterback position. And if you look at the Steelers last season, they had one of the best defenses in the NFL, sixth best scoring defense in the NFL. But on the other hand, their offense was one of the worst. They were just so bad. It was pretty painful to watch their offense last season. If you look at their combined stats with Kenny Pickett playing in 12 games, then you had Mason Rudolph and Mitch Trubisky also playing in a couple. Their total passing stats, 13 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Just, that's not going to cut it in the NFL these days. And somehow the Steelers still went 10-7, mainly due to how good their defense was. And so now, just looking at Russell Wilson coming here to Pittsburgh, I know that Russell Wilson was not the same quarterback that he had been prior in Seattle all those years when he was finding a ton of success early in his career. His time in Denver was pretty bad, especially that first year. But last year, even though he wasn't playing at that top tier level that I think he once used to play at when it came to his ability to scramble, make things happen, which I think he still can do from time to time, just not quite like he used to. He still was a pretty solid quarterback. He threw for a total of, I think it was 26 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. And so just when you think about the fact that last year the Steelers were 10-7. 10-7 with some of the worst, if not the worst, quarterback play in the entire NFL, and they go 10-7. And so now you bring in a Russell Wilson who does not really turn the ball over very much. And when you add that to a defense that is one of the better defenses in the NFL, I do think the Steelers are going to be just fine. And the fact that they have Russell Wilson for only $1.2 million, like that is the best value at quarterback, I think, on a per dollar basis, considering how insane the quarterback market has gotten in the NFL. And I was doing the math because, Trevor Lawrence just tied Joe Burrow with $55 million per year. Trevor Lawrence is making about 45 times more money on a per year basis than Russell Wilson in 2024 when it comes to how much the Steelers are paying him. And so I think because of that legit defense they have, because of Russell Wilson, I think the Steelers could honestly be a very good team this year because you go from the kind of quarterback they had to Russell Wilson. I think it's a massive upgrade. And so I think we're going to see a pretty solid Steelers team coming into this year. Then you have Justin Fields, who I think is a pretty poor passer, very good when it comes to running. And he has some good moments throwing the ball. He can throw the ball deep pretty well. But I still think in 3 years in Chicago, he shows he's a pretty inconsistent quarterback when it comes to passing the ball. And I think the reason the Steelers did it is because Russell Wilson is going to be a free agent after this season. And so let's say Russ has a good year, but he doesn't like being with the Steelers. They're probably going to lose him in free agency. And then they'll be stuck there like, okay, like what's our plan going to be at quarterback? And now that you have Justin Fields in there as well, let's say Russell Wilson has a somewhat good year, but he doesn't want to stay in Pittsburgh. He leaves. You at least have another guy who spent the entire season learning behind Russell. You would assume that Justin Fields can pick up some things from a veteran-type player like Russell Wilson. So I think it's a smart move, and I don't think that Justin Fields is going to be the starter. I think Russell Wilson sounds like he clearly has the job in Pittsburgh. It sounds like Mike Tomlin sees Russell Wilson as a starter. He's a veteran-type guy, and I think bringing that kind of quarterback to the Steelers with the defense they have could lead to them being a sneaky team coming into 2024, but I don't really feel like Fields is going to really be competing with Russell Wilson. Maybe they bring him from time to time to try different kinds of things with Fields. And if Russell Wilson is terrible to start the year, okay, then maybe you try Fields. But I see Russell Wilson being the starter all year, and then I feel like Fields is an insurance policy for the Steelers in case Russell goes elsewhere. Fields will also be a free agent after this season, so they'll have to get a deal done with him. But I think that's sort of what their plan is going into 2024. But if you want more NFL content, make sure you follow and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.